Hello, and welcome to Into the MoTaverse. This is episode 2 with Simon Tomes. I'm Rosie Sherry. I'm the founder and CEO of Ministry of Testing. And this is my little podcast experiment to just get talking with people in the MoTaverse. Today, Simon Tomes. If you don't know Simon Tomes, have you even been in the MoTaverse? Would be my reaction to that. Simon and I go back quite a few years. He's been in testing for almost as long as me, I think, which is 2020. Yeah, 20. Oh, I've been in testing 25 years, and I think he's maybe 23 or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, just we've been around the block, and he's been part of the community for a few years as well. And then later on, he joined the team. He's done testing. He's had lead roles. He's run his own company. He's and I guess like more recently, is it 4 years or 5 years? He's been at MOT. I'm not even sure these days. I've completely lost track of time. But for me, I've loved our journey together, especially since he's, I guess come from a similar background in the sense of testing, business, community. And then more recently, in the past couple of years, we've just been working really closely together with Ministry of Testing. And yeah, he's been a rock bed, I think, from my perspective, just with the community and with trying to innovate, do things interestingly, doing things right, doing things fun, backing me up, supporting me, helping me with the doubts we might have along the way. All those things have been really important for me. And yeah, I guess for this conversation, I wanted to just geek out a bit on community, but perhaps a bit more specifically what we've started calling community as a service within MOT. It's an idea we're playing around with as we've evolved, as we're building our own platform, as we've been saying things like don't let the social networks have all the fun. We're trying to figure out the language and the mission and our goals of what we're trying to achieve. And I think community as a service is a phrase I want to latch onto. No one's really talking about it, or it's not really clear what it is or what it could be. And I think in the context of the MoTaverse, it's super interesting. So that's my little intro to this episode. Hello, Simon.
Hello, Rosie. Wow, that was an intro. So I'm very grateful for that. Thank you, first of all, for your kind words. And also, to be part of Into the MoTaverse podcast. It's a privilege and an honor, particularly to get in at episode 2. It feels very cool. I'm excited to see where this podcast goes. There's lots of very interesting topics to be discussed beyond today. But I'm up for getting into the nitty-gritty of community as a service in relation to Ministry of Testing, this thing called the MoTaverse. Like, what is that all about? Why does it exist? How is it helping humankind? How is it helping people? What's it really about? Maybe, just be a bit more open. I mean, we're very open and transparent about our algorithm, for example. So I think this episode, I'm excited that we can just open it up a bit more, make it more of an open box, where other companies may be a bit more closed when it comes to what they're thinking about their business model and how it relates to community and supporting people. And to answer your question, it's been 4 years and 7 or 8 months that I've been part of Ministry of Testing. So I joined on May the 4th 2021. So yes, so it'll be my 5-year anniversary on May next year.
Awesome. Wow. That's cool.
Yeah. What a journey though. I mean, kind of thinking how things are so different to what it was like. You know, the concept of community, I think, has changed completely since I officially became a community professional. But I'd done community stuff beforehand in a tech community in South London, and then volunteering with some events that were connected to Ministry of Testing. But it feels so different now. Like, it feels so different that things are better connected. Things are a lot more joined up. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way I've been trying to think about it is the world has changed just so much, right? And when I think of community, and even like I compare it to the testing world or the quality world, the world is not the same from what it was 5-10 years ago, right? It's like if you stay the same, and if you're still thinking the same or doing the same things, you're probably doing something wrong, I think. And in the context of community, not a lot has changed outside of my circles, I guess. I don't feel like enough has changed in the community world. And I didn't realize how much it could change until we kind of started doubling down on building our own platform. And that to me was kind of a holy cow moment.
Yeah, totally. That's a good way of describing it.
And like often, like we say to ourselves, it's like, why weren't we doing this like many years ago? We should have been doing this a few years ago. And we joke about like the social networks not having all the fun, but like the more we build our own platform and the more data that we see that we create, the more inspired I am about the things that we can do, the things that we can reuse, the intelligence that there is within the community. And social networks have all this data, and they've had it for years. And I'm like, of course they're not going to give that away. You know, it's valuable, and they're literally never going to give it away. Which I understand. And I guess as we're building the MoTaverse, now seeing the data, it's just inspired me so much with what we can do. And yeah, I guess like on top of that, it's like the world has changed, not just from a community perspective, but also the technology perspective. Like typically, like, you know, the example is Twitter, and you know that being taken over by some guy that doesn't deserve to have it. But like the impact of things like that is that people now feel dispersed. Everyone's like, it's fractured. The networks have been fractured. People don't know where to go for what. People are tired from jumping from one platform to another and not getting really what they need. Not, you know, they lose touch with all the people that they had these systems in place through platforms that then change. And like even things like Facebook, it's like you don't see your friends' updates on Facebook anymore. It's all groups. It's all anything but the people you're connected with, right? And it's just like things have changed, and it's like we can whinge about it or we can do something about it. And I like to think that we're doing something about it. Totally.
And it's kind of triggers a couple of points I want to call out, the data aspect. And you know, we do think in systems as an organization, like how are things connected and what data can reveal that. So at some point we can talk about our community star algorithm. I think it's important to get into that in a bit, and how so many things are connected that perhaps, you know, weren't obvious before. So I love that the data has revealed that and will continue to reveal that. I feel for like 2026, there's many things we will discover with the data that we hadn't even considered. There's like creating more opportunities for people, making people look awesome that perhaps don't think they're awesome. The data will definitely do that, more of that. It's already doing it, but it will do more. So I'm excited where things go when it comes to data and it being open. You know, this is public profiles are open for people to see and celebrate and see how they can progress. They can look at other people's profiles and be inspired by what they're up to, the data that's presented to them. It's very cool. I think the thing with building our own social platform, it's kind of like we're creating a place, like a niche place for people that are interested in quality to come to and hang out and learn from each other. I think where we would be different from social media is there's no sensationalism. There's no, like, you're only going to get presented stuff that's clickbaity or stuff that's controversial or stuff that's shocking. Like, there's just none of that. And it's a safe space for people to come and learn and not get bombarded with too much information. A lot of things are long form for a reason, because we believe that is a great way for people to learn. We appreciate that the world is changing and people are leaning towards short form things. Like you go on, say, lots of news sites and it's a 60-second clip. And for some people that might be useful, of course. Yet providing people with kind of ways to go a bit deeper, we believe is helping them learn, helping them grow, helping them connect with people and understand other people in the community so they can go and have conversations with them and learn more from them. So I think we are different from other social media platforms, but to your point about when Twitter went to the bad place and people lost their connections, we believe that people can find that connection again with the MoTaverse. And they are, you know, people can literally follow each other and connect with each other and have conversations with each other, learn from each other in real time or asynchronously. And you know, none of the social platforms are really doing that. They're just not. You're just being fed stuff that perhaps isn't so helpful.
Yeah. And as we were talking about that, it's like, I was thinking of like the activity feed, and we've had like internal discussions about this, and we have a feed, right? Just like, you know, you might have a feed on Facebook or LinkedIn and you can see activity, and it sits there on a URL. We haven't made it super findable yet. It sits there on the sidebar of some pages. It sits there on people's profiles, their profile pages. And I think in the future we might have it in the My MOT section so people can go and find it and access it in a known place, potentially. But we have had discussions. It's like, what do we do with this activity feed? And like one of the things was like, I was kind of saying, I don't, you know, we were tempted to put it on the homepage, but then I was like, I'm not sure if I want it on the homepage, because then it makes us like a social network. Then it starts creating these habits of scrolling and checking for all the updates. And I don't know if that's what we want to be. Maybe we will be one day, who knows? But for now, it's just like we've been taking a different angle of, we're a bit journalistic. Our website is inspired partially by the BBC, and I really like that. We can manually curate stuff to the homepage really easily, or, you know, other main pages as well. We're trying to think of better ways to do that, how to do that with tagging, how to semi-automate it. But, you know, all of that is intentional, I guess. Is like, I guess like a platform doesn't have to have a feed, and I like that. It, you know, brings a sense of focus, a sense of calm. Is success for us people scrolling a lot or clicking on stuff? I don't think it is, right? It's like what what becomes success is different, and I want to measure different things. And perhaps that's where our community algorithm starts to come in. But maybe you can tell us what the algorithm is, because kind of like, well, you kind of start what we did, but you were initially doing a lot of manual stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah, I can definitely dive into the algorithm. Maybe take you back to the early days. Just before I do that, a final thought on the kind of making things a bit calmer. You made a really good point there, where I think if it's analogous to quality, and there's so much connections with how we're setting up the MoTaverse and developing the MoTaverse and building it with the world of quality. Of course it is. And it's amazing that there is that connection, because we often talk about quality as care, and care takes time and attention. You can't do care quickly. It's just not possible. I just don't think it's possible. You can't care quickly. I just feel like it's just a disconnect. So maybe, and this is a reflection I'm having right now, is we're intentionally making things that people have to work a bit. They have to work a bit to care, and that's okay. Because we believe they will get the most value if they put in the time and they show up and they make the effort. And we do appreciate that it's hard for people to do that. We've all got pressures to deliver releases, loads of bugs to deal with, hot fixes, etc., pressure to be across multiple projects or product deliveries. But those who do show up and care, they tend to do well with their careers. And it's because they care and show up and they take their time, and things do take time. So yeah, I just wanted to share that before diving into the algorithm. So the algorithm, dates-wise, let me think. So we have a forum called The Club, and that's been a historic part of Ministry of Testing, where it's a discussion forum. People can talk about all sorts of stuff, put out questions, thoughts, comments, and everybody helps each other. It's great. And the platform behind that is Discourse, and they offer a badge system kind of out of the box. And we were like, maybe we could offer a community style badge through Discourse. So I think this was February 2024, I think. These dates I often get wrong, but we'll say it's the start of 2024. We were like, okay, so let's every month. So it was a monthly task I had on my list, recurring task. Look at everything that the community has been up to in all the many different places that people hang out and do stuff, and then make a list of people that have been up to good things. Make a note of the reason as to why you think they deserve a star, 1 star, 1 star, and then give them a star via the club as a badge, which is a star. So it's conflating two terms there to confuse things already. And it was 1 star. I think it was, you could only offer 1 star a month. And that's what we started with. And then it was like, next month, okay, do the same thing. And then we noticed like more people were earning stars. And we would also, I was spotting there's more reasons to offer a star. So the list got bigger. And we were using a tool, just a basic tool to track all that stuff, separate from the Ministry of Testing as a platform, as a system. So yeah, over time, just kept on administering these stars, which was lovely. And the feedback was positive. People were like, oh, cool, I got a star. And people would share that on social platforms and feel good about it. Get the odd message saying, oh, thanks for my star. And it was like a warm, fuzzy feeling. But then I think, Rosie, you then said, right, we've got to bring these stars onto our platform. And I was like, yes, we do. Like, how can we bring it onto the system? Bring it onto this concept of a profile page, so people have a dedicated profile page where they can show the number of stars they've achieved. So whiz forward to today, we have members can receive a star for all sorts of contributions, all sorts. I think the list, is it about, it's definitely over 100 now. So if somebody has written an article, they will be awarded a star. if someone has participated in one of our many different events, they could receive a star for that. People could receive a star that just says thanks, that one member could award that to another just to say thanks, and you can leave a little message. So some of those stars are automated based on certain activities that people do, and others are administered manually. So recently we've cranked up the star giving opportunity because it's so cool, where people can now thank people for a contribution. So if you're reading an article, you're watching a talk, you can tap a little thank button. That works as a two-way star system now. So we've enhanced it even more, where the contributor will receive a star from that person to say thanks, and the person who gave the star the thanks will also receive the star. So we've kind of locked into this thing where like a like is okay, but we got rid of the like button and it's a star button, because we believe in the importance of the two-way kind of piece of gratitude. You know, we as Ministry of Testing are like, thanks for sharing thanks to someone, here's a star. And the person giving the star feels great about offering that star via thanks to that recipient. So the star system, as we kind of refer to it, is fascinating. It's a way of sharing appreciation for each other. It's a way of an individual building up their profile as well. And there's many ways it can happen. There's, you know, sometimes someone may receive a star for a thing they did a year ago, years ago. If people are more active and contributing more, they increase their chances of receiving stars. Stars can lead to badges as well. So if you hit certain numbers of stars for certain things, you get a badge, which is a nice kind of visual representation on your profile page. So you can literally track your learning journey, your contribution journey through our algorithm. And it's all open. You can go to a web page to see the algorithm. It's all there. You can see how people earn stars. It's completely open. There's nothing hidden. There's no like weighting of like, this type of member will get more stars or will be amplified more than others. There's none of that. It's all open and available for people to see. So it's been amazing building it. And I know there's so much more we can do for 2026. We've got loads of stuff on our kind of feature backlog to enhance the star system. We just want to make it easier for people to be rewarded for their contributions and reward others. There we go. Hopefully that's done it justice, Rosie. Maybe I missed some stuff. It's hard to know. Think about, there's probably other milestones in the journey of how we got to our current star system, but hopefully that helps our listeners understand what it's about.
Yeah, and I guess from a business perspective, we like just starting with an idea, right? So that was like an MVP, as people might call it. It's like we had this idea, we wanted to kind of show gratitude to members, but we didn't have anything built in, and we didn't have tech capacity to build something. We didn't even know what we wanted. So, you know, I think for me, it's been quite inspiring just going through that manual process of let's do it. You're doing it once a month, and then I'm observing what you're doing. I'm contributing in places when I can, and we're building up all these reasons of why we're giving stars. But really, that's building up an MVP. Let's say when we went to build it, we knew exactly what we wanted. We had the whole list of stars. We weren't guessing. It was already based on existing data, and for me, that's been beautiful. Is how I would phrase it. It's like we're learning to build a platform in a way that feels authentic. It feels real. It feels really embedded with the community. It's based on actions. It's not based on some kind of random idea of, wouldn't this be awesome? Let's go build it, and then you build it, and no one actually cares, right? So I guess like as we're running a business, to me it feels really special to be building this way rather than speccing things out massively in advance and potentially wasting a lot of time and money that we actually don't have building something that people won't use. So from that perspective, it's been amazing. And also, like the two-way star thing is so interesting as well. So, like, one of the things, like, well, when we introduced it, so like Mark Winteringham did the test automation certs, and I always felt a bit bad that he didn't have more stars than he did on his MOT profile. I was like, he created these certs, people are doing these certs, but his star count is low, and that felt wrong. I was like, that has to change. So like part of the two-way star system is like every time someone completes a lesson, he earns a star, and the learner earns a star, and he gets to see who's doing the course. He gets to see exactly when someone is doing a lesson. So if he was interested, he could follow them back or reach out, right? And I think that's kind of the beauty of where our algorithm is. It's like it's not just a number. It's a point of connection. It's a point of appreciation, and there's like ways to level it up. And I don't know how many stars Mark has now. I think it's in the hundreds now. And I'm like, yes, this is starting to feel right, because like he's contributed with that. And hopefully the more people who write for us with articles, they can earn stars over years. Like you say, it's like you create something and you can potentially have a trickle of stars just coming your way. And that's motivation, right? We like to use the word motivation.
Total motivation.
As a pun, but like the stars algorithm is a bit of motivation. It's like we want to motivate people. We want to help people see that actually like every contribution matters. And if we go back to the idea of the data, that we can track stuff, or when someone clicks a link, that can lead to a star as well. And like we're realizing is like, oh, we can make stars happen in discrete ways that even they don't know that they're going to earn a star until they do something, and then they might be surprised by it. So like a good example of that is the observatory, which is a place where people can add links. So you can add a link to your own content, blog, for example, or you can add a link to any kind of quality testing resource out there in the wild. And when you add a link, you earn a star, because you're kind of adding a bit of knowledge to the MoTaverse, and that we believe that's valuable. But then also when someone clicks on that link, the person who clicks on the link earns a star, but also the person who added the link also earns a star, because then that's a way of saying, oh, that link was useful to someone. And it's not just there on the homepage or on the observatory page for a day or two. It's there forever. It's like if people search for links within our search area page, whatever you call it, and they stumble upon an observatory link, and they click on it, stars are earned, right? And they probably don't even realize what kind of a link it is, but it's just like that's how it's being designed. And it's those little surprises, that we're like, this is interesting, and we're just, like you say, we've got a whole backlog of things to implement, keep implementing. We've had Mark articles as read, Mark lessons as complete. It's all stars, because you're learning as well, right? And it's like it's a way to track learning, and it just it feels amazing.
Totally. What you hit on there is like, I think a lot of people that join communities, I'm talking about any community, right, is particularly a professional community, a community of practice, is like, they might be thinking, am I useful? How can I add value? How can I contribute? How can I just get involved and actually do something special? And I think the MoTaverse algorithm is a way for people to realize I am useful. I am actually helpful. And it may be people in a professional community of practice may immediately jump to, I've got to be speaking on the main stage at a mega conference, and that's the only way I'm going to make a difference on this planet and inspire people. But that's not what it's all about. Like, of course, that is an amazing aspiration for people, and people who get up on stage, like, so much respect that they can get to that point in their career where they are sharing information in front of an audience in a conference environment. That's so cool. Yeah, there's many more ways to participate and actually feel useful at being part of a community. And the star system, the MoTaverse algorithm, allows that to happen. And I feel very proud that it does, because it's far reaching. So much so that we used to have an email go out every time someone would receive a star. We had to turn that off because people were receiving too much spam, too many emails from us saying, oh, you received the star, you received the star, you received the star. So we got some feedback, which we're grateful for. It was all a bit too much. But it was a good problem to have, right? So we then have turned it into a weekly Community Stars Digest email. It goes out early Monday morning, UK time. And it says to you, you have earned X amount of stars. It gives you a hard number for the last week, which is amazing. It gives you 3 examples of some of the stars you've earned, and you can click on them and go and look at the detail. You also then get, and this is a really cool bit, which we added, this is behind the scenes, but we added it just before that email first went out, was how many stars you've awarded to other members. So you can track your received and award count every week. Maybe we turn that into a ratio. Maybe there's a sweet spot. If that's a 1-to-1 ratio, maybe that's a good thing. Or maybe you give more than you receive. So maybe the target is 2-to-1. I don't know. That's something for us to talk about as a potential feature. We show you your ratio of received to awarded. Anyway, that's a fresh idea live on a podcast. But it's cool because people get, and of course they can opt out of this email if it's not for them, but we encourage people to receive it because it is motivation. It is motivation to go, right, I want to beat that number next week. Or, you know what, I'm going to accept over the next 2 weeks, I'm stepping away from the community. I expect that my numbers will be down. That's fine. So it's not like numbers for numbers' sake. It's more of a indication of your activity and and are you showing up and are you supporting other members? And I think it's more that. It's not, oh my goodness, the number really matters. I mean, maybe if you said number 99 or 200 or 404, then those numbers matter because they're important in the world of the MoTaverse with things like the 99-second talks or the HTTP status code 200 okay or 404 not found. So you can have fun with those numbers. Of course you can, and we love to have fun with numbers. But on the serious side, it's more an indication of how am I showing up? How am I valuable? And how am I, how am I valuable to support my colleagues? And how am I supporting myself in my career? So, yeah, we feel good about that weekly digest email. And yeah, we're glad we are sending it weekly and it's no longer spamming people's inboxes.
And we haven't even mentioned the glitter.
Ah, the glitter. Yep. I mean, who loves a bit of you? So if you haven't seen it, I mean, it's kind of a nice surprise when you first see it. But as we're talking about it, if anyone hits a thank you button or a red button, there's a cool glitter animation that appears on the screen. And I tested it the other day. If you're quick enough and you mark the red button and you tap the red button and the thank you button as quickly as possible, you'll get a double animation and it all works fine. So that's great. And that will appear in other places as well. But I won't say where yet. Just keep your eyes out for other places. I'll keep some suspense, even though we are very open about all this. But yeah. Yes, there you go. But Rosie, oh, sorry, go for it.
Yeah, I was just saying it's just such a sense of joy pressing that and seeing the glitter confetti appear.
So community as a service, how do you, Rosie, connect up what we talked about so far with the concept of community as a service? How is that all connected? What does it mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to simplify what I mean by it, and I don't think I'm there yet. But the algorithm has definitely kind of helped me think through things, and from our perspective is like, we are a community, but we're a community of practice. We serve an industry, we serve a niche. We're very serious about what we do. But at the same time, we want to have fun and be creative and bring joy and care to everything. And, partly some people, when they think of community, it's like a lot of people like want to move away from the term community because it's become so vague. It's like, what even is community? And, everyone has their own definition. But I think I want to lean into it more, purely because I've been community obsessed since I discovered what community was and how we could build communities online. But yeah, also it's just like, I think community is the answer to everything if we do it well. And I don't think we've been doing it well. And I perhaps don't say this out loud because I worry that I'll offend people. But I think we can do better in community. And there's many reasons that we haven't. And as I'm learning, I think a lot of them are that we rely on other platforms to build community where we don't get access to the data. And that's not saying that the platforms are bad. It's more saying if you're serious about community, you want to build a really solid business, you have to build it yourself. Just like you might build a SaaS yourself. You're not going to go and, you can kind of, to some extent, build a SaaS off other things, but it's never quite the same as building your own. You always end up with these like restrictions that stop you from doing things. So from that perspective, it's like, I think community is beautiful and there's so much opportunity to be creative and to innovate at this point in time. And the more we build our own platform, the more I see the options. And the more we go into this, the more I see it all as a systems thinking angle where everything is interconnected. So we've hosted conferences for many years. I think 2012 was the first conference we did. So that's like 13 years of conferences. But that's once a year, right? But it's still community. It is a part of community. Along the way, I think it's inevitable that we start to do more as we build community. We start to want to gather knowledge, right? So we create courses. We have an archive of talks. We publish articles. What else do we do? We have links. We started collecting links as knowledge. We run podcasts. What else am I missing? I'm sure I'm missing stuff, but so it's just like it's never ending, right? There's so much there. Certs. We have certs basically. That's a big oops. That's like a big thing that we do. And I guess in the past these have often been separate businesses. It's like you run a conference business, or you have a cert business, or you have some courses, or you run a community separately. They've all been separate, but when they're all separate, it doesn't work very well, or there's so much lost opportunity. Whereas when all of these, we're doing them in tandem, I like to say we're doing them 24/7, 365, and as part of it, as part of community, we run a conference. As part of community, we host courses. As part of community, we publish articles. As part of community, we create certs. The talks that are hosted inspire like the content we create, right? It's all interconnected. So I guess like when I think of community as a service, increasingly, especially because of the way we are in the world at the moment, people need help building community. It's not for us; it's with us, right? We're doing it together. We're bringing people opportunities. We're spotting the talents, we're spotting the inspiration, we're spotting like people who have so much to give, but they don't know how to give it. And we're turning it into something that they would have never believed was possible. And I guess that is what community as a service is. We're designing all these things in. We're building a platform to enable that. Our platform is that service, right? It's designed to lift people up and advance the industry, and of course support us as a business to enable that. But it's all for the people. And if you compare that, it's like, again, like going back to the fact that we do many things, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, we can do all of this with such a small team. Whereas, to run a conference, it's just not efficient anymore. I don't think, and that's partly because we're paying attention to the people, to the data, to all the things. We can start to connect the dots better. We can start to see trends, and we're like, oh, we should do a course on this, and then, oh, it's not that hard to do a course because we know people who we can work with, or we know we can create that course because we've probably got 50% of the ideas already within our platform. We just need to spend a bit of time sifting through it, right? But it's like, it's there, it's efficient, it's beautiful, it's it's amazing, like what power it has, I think. And honestly, I think we're so early on that this is just the beginning. And if this is just the beginning, it's just like the potential is amazing. And it's like, there's other stuff like Open to Work, for example, we have, or Open to Speak, Open to Write. So that's another database we have, or the salary survey that we keep meaning to publish as well. It's just like all these things are to serve the community, but also the data and the insights help us decide what to do. But it's all in one platform, and if it can be a place for quality people to grow their careers, advance their careers, be that one place for them to find opportunities. It's not just a place to learn. It's not just a conference. It's a place to connect and just grow, right? And we've seen it in community that people who are better connected, who spend time within the platform, their life is so much easier for it because of that connection and because of the opportunities that gives them. So that's my short answer to what.
That's great. That is cool. And for our listeners, if you don't read what Rosie shares on Rosieland, do go check it out. There's a good article about your initial thoughts and take on community as a service. It's well worth checking out. I think the key thing there that you shared, if I can call out one thing that stands out, is the interconnectedness of it all. Like, that is the point. One thing that could happen over here could spark many things over there, say 6 months later or even further, because it's easier to spot these things. It's like we've revealed something in the data now where it's so obvious that things are connected, and we can just see it. It's not separate, and we don't have to work too hard to spot opportunities to collaborate with people. So we have a saying internally at Ministry of Testing called "always be inviting." And if we didn't have everything we have on our own platform, we would find it harder to know who to invite and who that we think we could encourage to collaborate with, whether it's encouraging them to write an article or to showing up at an event to listen in on something, or maybe posting a memory, which is just a short form way of someone expressing something that's on their mind to the rest of the community, to share an image, some accompanying text, and they just put it out there. Now we have so many things interconnected on our own platform. We can see who to invite, and that feels very cool, because we can provide a better service off the back of that, having that visibility.
I also think that I guess one of my goals is for people not to think of community as just relationships or just gathering and conversing and building trust and building belonging. I think community often gets described as that, and we've learned from it. I think, I've definitely fallen into that trap of, oh, we should gather. Isn't it good to gather? Isn't it great? It's great. Honestly, I fully recommend it. But I think also the trap that so many communities get into is that it kind of stops there, or it's kind of like people want to talk so much that nothing actually gets done. Everyone wants to have their say. Everyone thinks they know the answers to the solution, but they're happy to put their opinion in. But it's actually very few people who are willing to put in the work to make the change happen.
Yeah.
And I actually use my local councillor as such a great example of that kind of thing. Is like, or even like your local Facebook groups, where often like people are on, and they you find out the local gossip, right? But our local councillor, she's just amazing in the fact that she just gets on there and communicates everything that's happening. And people come to her and they ask for help, and she helps make things happen, and she directs people and says, well, if you want that to happen, this is what you need to do. And she's really trying to take action and help people, right? But and then people complain sometimes. It's like, oh, but why is this happening? And she's like, well, there was a meeting here, you could try come into the next one if you want to.
Yeah.
But the reality is, like, most people don't, and that's okay. But if you look at the great communities, it's where people take action to make stuff happen. People come, they don't donate money, or they pay their dues, or they go and help people out, or they collaborate, they actually get stuff done. And not enough of that happens in community, and it's like all these discussions. I just hate it. It's just like all people just talking around all the things that they could do, but actually getting it done is a whole different story. So perhaps like community as a service is like we help get things done, but we credit the people along the way, right? We work with people, we gather the information, we gather the knowledge, but we're the ones behind the scene doing the work to help make that happen. And to help make that happen, obviously we need support. We need to find a way to be sustainable. Local communities get government money. In modern day learning professional networks, we have to get money elsewhere. And for people to start to see that as a valuable service is perhaps one of our biggest goals or biggest challenges, right? Is like, yes, we're a community, but we're very serious about what we're doing. And the community we're building is with the community because we're having conversations every day, but then we're doing the work because the community is too busy just trying to make a living, right? So we're trying to do the work so that they don't have to spend hours searching for stuff. Instead, we do the work so they can spend minutes having what they need when they need it, right? And that's our challenge, is for people to see value in that. I want people to find what they need quickly, not scroll endlessly, and not getting much out of it. And that to me is community as a service, I guess. And I think like the research angle is huge as part of that. Just like, especially in today's world, it's just like we put so much into the research, and conversations are research. So it's like part of our effort is to make sense of the conversations that are happening everywhere. But yeah, it's so much to do from that perspective. But we definitely have a challenge to convince people that it's valuable. I think people see it, but it's more like how do we help the businesses who fund these things see the value in it and not default to, oh, you have to, meet a certain criteria, or you have to offer something in this very specific way that we're used to seeing it. But we're trying.
Yeah, we're trying hard, and I love the way you're framing things there. I've certainly fallen into the trap earlier on in my career as a community professional, thinking that belonging was the thing. I think I ran a belonging survey in the early days of me being part of Ministry of Testing, just to get a sense of it, and talk about belonging all the time, which, don't get me wrong, is important. Of course it is. And that's kind of an outcome of being part of a good community. But I was thinking, because the action point is what really matters. That's the thing that makes the difference to people's careers and other people's careers through their participation. Like, it really does. And in the world of quality, we can have a huge impact on humankind through the apps that we develop. Like, really huge impact, right? Massive. We can change things for the good through what we build and develop. And if Ministry of Testing and people being part of the MoTaverse level up their skills and experiences, they can then, improve quality of apps that are out there. They can have better risk awareness. So actually being part of the MoTaverse is a risk-based strategy, if you want to frame it like that, because you're getting more tools, more knowledge and experience to have better conversations with your teams about what matters, and learning skills, critical thinking skills, systems thinking skills, how to ask questions. You can all learn that with the community. So the other part, just thinking about belonging. So maybe I'm trying to come up with an equation, a simple one, like, I don't know, okay community equals belonging, but good community, or maybe great community, equals belonging plus action, or maybe it's belonging to the power of action. I don't know. There's something there. But the action is the differentiator, and community as a service, like the platform that is available to people, helps people take action, like really take action and do stuff and get stuff done, and things that really matter. And that's where it's exciting. That I think is true community, is people being able to not just come along and rant or moan about stuff, which is fine. Like, people can do that, of course they can. But it's people being kind of activated to take action because they've got the tools or the platform or the things, the service, to do things, and really go for it. That is what we have built and continue to build with the Ministry of Testing platform. But there's, as you say, there's so much more to be done. I think it's still fairly early days, relatively speaking. But I'm excited for it. Excited to see how we evolve our service, evolve the platform itself, and just, there's stuff that we probably haven't revealed with the data yet that will reveal itself in a year, and we'll be like, no way, why has it taken us so long to work that out? Much like, why did it take us time to go from manually awarding stars once a month to where we are now? But that's okay, because it was an MVP, and we were like, here's a hunch that this is valuable, so we wanted to test it, and we kept running experiments to do so. And then it's like, okay, this can be more than just an experiment or a smaller part of the system. It becomes bigger.
I was thinking that as you were saying action, I was thinking about opportunities and care as a way to think about community.
Yeah,
so I do think communities bring opportunities that you wouldn't normally get elsewhere.
100%. Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt, that's so important. Like, it really does. It just reveals so many, like, opens doors sounds like a cheesy saying, but it does open doors to many things that people don't realize. Like, maybe there are a set of unknown unknowns. They don't know what could be possible because they just don't know what could be possible. So maybe being part of a community, like being part of the MoTaverse, is people are able to discover known unknowns, because yes, they are unsure about a thing, but at least they know that it exists and they could possibly get involved and do a thing that could lead to something. So it's like revealing it to them, going, there's all this stuff you could do. You could take action on all this stuff, and we could connect you with all these people that can help support your career. And then you can do the same with other people in the community as well to support their careers. So yeah, an opportunity accelerator. There you go. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, the episode before this, I was talking with Eamon, and we were talking a bit about community as well. So he's come up within the community in the past year. We actually looked back, and he made a video, and I was convinced it was like over a year ago, but it was in March.
Yeah.
And it's just like feels forever ago, and it's like it feels like he's been around so long, but actually it's only been March, and he's just like, you know, done amazingly well. You know, he was out of work, he's gotten a job now, and you know, he's been coming to meetups and stuff like that. And that's opportunity because he's embraced it. But then on top of that is something that he said was confidence. He feels like he has more confidence than that. Obviously he's put in the work for it, but like community has been a big part of that. And it's like confidence is this priceless thing. It's like you can't go out and buy confidence. You need to experience it. And if community can give that, it's like, heck yeah, right? It's like, and I think that's just like the whole point of community is like, you know, I think a big part of it is also care, but it's like all these things are like, they're so intangible, they're so important as well. And yeah, our work's cut out to prove that this is a great way to progress a career, a great way to lead your professional life, to learn, to connect. You know, it's to me there's no other way, right? But it's the intangibles, the challenges, intangibles, and not necessarily putting a figure on that, but for me it's mostly about trying to create a sustainable business around that works, that convinces companies to back us with our membership, is basically. But yeah, it's a fun challenge. I'm pretty inspired by it at the moment.
Yeah, likewise. It's a big challenge, but it's a good one, right? Again, it's a privilege to be part of what we're up to, and an honor. And it's, yeah, I just think, you know, in both of our roles, and our roles are different, but also very connected as well. Yeah, we have a far-reaching impact, and I'm aware of that. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way or an ego way. It's more like there is responsibility on us to just do our best and give people that community confidence and like conviction to believe in themselves and what is possible when you participate in a community such as Ministry of Testing. It's a game changer for people's lives. You know, I often say to people, like, someone who contributes, they might do something and they may never know the impact they've had on someone, but it could change someone's career. They could read an article or even watch a short talk, and then that person, it just ignites something in them that they've never seen or felt before, and then they go down a rabbit hole and their career completely changes. The person who inspired them may never get that feedback, and that's why we have our algorithm to help connect that feedback mechanism, so people do actually are able to connect with each other and share gratitude with each other. So I feel very good about that. But yeah, community changes lives. It really does, in a positive way, particularly within a community of practice. We see it all the time. People getting, you know, working their way up through an organization, taking on more leadership roles or individual contributor roles, people switching jobs to different companies through the connections they've made through the community. It's all about growth and confidence, and, you know, people's belief, their conviction in their capabilities. And even if they aren't capable right now, they can develop those capabilities by participating. You come like, I don't know, it's a term I've tried to start using. It's like you become community qualified. You kind of like, it's like it's a qualification that you just get and you're done with it. And you're like, right, oh, thank goodness I've become community qualified. That's it, I'm done. It's ongoing and it's work. Like, I know you and I, Rosie, as community professionals, we are constantly learning, constantly trying to develop and improve ourselves as professionals in what we do. And it's not going to stop. Like, we can become better community qualified as we go and learn from each other and others, learn from other industries and what other community professionals are up to or not up to in some cases. So yeah, it's ongoing. It's ongoing. It's the point I'm trying to make, and it never stops. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing. It just goes, I think the way I try and describe it, visualize it, for those who like visualizations, is we just go wider with our skill set and our experience, keep going wider, 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 wider. And particular skills and knowledge we have, we can just go deeper. It's like, I guess some folks can refer to it as like the broken comb. But yeah, just keep going wider with our knowledge and experience. And then if we want to go deeper in certain things, we can. And people get that from participating in a community like Ministry of Testing.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. And honestly, with you, it's been a journey as well. So I've really appreciated going on this journey with you as well. And just to, hash out ideas has been so much fun along the way. And I think quite often we're on the same page and we end up seeing things, and increasingly so. And I have lots of hope for the future. But definitely I've never been so motivated with the work we're doing. And that's my driver. I care and I want to do the right thing as best as possible. It's not easy doing these things, and there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that we often end up having to deal with, a lot of stresses, and people don't see that, and I publicly don't share most of that stuff. I think that's my burden to hold, and maybe that's part of the community as a service, right? It's like, the world today is like they throw everything at you on social media, right? It's like you get thrown with everything, and it's actually quite unhealthy. It's probably not great for your mental health to always be exposed to constant drama, should I say. And perhaps as communities at service, it's like we're here to protect people and support people and invest in the things that we think will make an impact. And sometimes that means us making decisions that people won't understand. And that's probably another point of community that I often share about. Is like often community people, like they do surveys, or they're always asking for opinions, or say before they take a risk or make a decision, right? But I think as community professionals, we have to have that confidence as well. Yeah. We have to make those decisions. And I think as a team, we've gotten really, really good at that in the past year, especially. We've just like fine-tuned our team dynamics and the knowledge that we've been growing and just making decisions. A consequence of that is that sometimes people don't understand.
Yeah.
And it's hard to communicate, and we do try to communicate, but things get missed quite a lot. And it's always a decision of how much effort do you put in communicating, or how much do you just get on with what needs to get done. And it's a tricky balance, I think.
It really is.
Yeah, but making decisions. And I think we're doing much better with that. Just like having confidence in what we're building, right? And I think that's part of it. It's like we're aligned with what we're building, and therefore we're hopefully all making better decisions as a result. We call it the Aaah Test, right? Internally, it's like
Yeah.
the Aaah Test is when we think about doing something, does it make us go, that feels good?
Yeah, totally.
And if it does, then we're on the right track. And if it doesn't, or if it causes me stress or one of us stress or anxiety, then we should question it, right?
Yeah.
I love
the Aaah Test. It's just the best. It is so important. Yeah, I mean, just coming back to a couple of things, if that's okay. Thanks for the kind words. Likewise, like, it is a privilege to work with you. I think, bouncing ideas off each other. Also, while we do agree on things, we can certainly come at things at different angles, which I think works really well. We can help each other see things like this. I can think of countless examples where you said to me, yeah, but what about that? And I'm like, oh yeah, of course. Like, you just joined up something that I hadn't quite joined up. And I think that works well with our dynamic. The point around being bold and making decisions, it's tough, but I love that we can and we do. Like, sometimes, and this is this tricky fine line we have to tread around feedback from community members and our own conviction to make decisions. So I've written about this on my own blog, if I can do a plug, just like around ownership, just like who owns the community. And I think when I first came into community as a community professional, and even as a member, before I joined Ministry of Testing as a company, organization, I was like, pure democracy, like equal votes, all of that kind of stuff. Like, everyone should have a say. And yes, everyone should have a voice and be able to be heard, of course. Yet kind of decisions around like hard, tough decisions, trade-offs, I think, have to come from the leadership team, such as yourself, Rosie, and the rest of us. And that's sometimes, I think, hard for community members to not stomach, that's maybe too extreme a term, but for community members to understand, because as we are, we're the organization living and breathing it. We have the system that come back to like having all the data and seeing things. We are spotting things that others don't spot. And that's not a criticism saying like we're better than other people. It's purely based on the data and the living and breathing our community day in, day out. Like, as the service, the community's service, like, we are seeing things that other people won't see, and that's okay. And I think it is good that we can be bold and make decisions. And we certainly get feedback on stuff. We get feedback all the time. We love that. We absolutely love that with our community, what an amazing bunch of people who are up for supporting and sharing and critiquing things and calling stuff out and helping us realize stuff that we hadn't seen. Yet when it comes to making decisions and being bold, I love the fact we can go for it. And I value that it's not voting by committee. It's not like, hey, let's put this through a 3-month negotiation process, and then the outcome is maybe we do it or we don't. It's like, here's the thing, we make some assumptions, we go and take action in as simplest way as we possibly can, and then go and learn and actually have hard evidence, real evidence, not like thought leader evidence, but real evidence. And then we go for it, and then we go, okay, we need to tweak that thing, or let's go all in on this thing, and what does that mean? And we develop it and iterate. I love that we get to do that. I think it's so important that we can. It's a good model. It's a good model.
I agree. It's amazing. I love it. There should be more community businesses out there. And
yeah, I'd love to see that too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess like my hope is that other people can see what we're doing and copy it. And I think people already are. I know people already are.
Yep.
Some more discreetly than others, but it's all good, and it's nice to just to see stuff happening. But yeah, I hope we can lead the way. And how awesome is MOT to, I think like if we can show the tech community or any other community about how amazing a community can be, or what they can produce together, that just inspires me, to be honest.
Totally.
But not without its challenges, and I think that's important for people to recognise. And as a founder, as being legally responsible for many things, there's a burden on my shoulder. At times I've wanted to run away from it, and kind of did, and then came back, and all sorts of stuff. But there is that burden, and that's the reality of things. But we get better in time. I've got better in time. I've doubled down on care as a strategy. I think that feels right to me, and I hope we can lead the way to, as I've started calling, $1 billion community strategy. I think there is not necessarily $1 billion, but that there is a pathway to actually making these businesses super successful and super profitable. But that is not really the goal. But if we can make that happen, that would be amazing. It's possible, but so it's a whole different paradigm, I think, potential.
And with that paradigm, there is we are creating a paradigm shift without sounding too pretentious. And I don't want to sound arrogant, but of course we're going to meet resistance because it's different, and we will meet resistance, and we do meet resistance. Like, again, how much do we communicate? How much do we kind of have to say to people, take a bit of a leap? But once you've taken that leap, you will see the benefits of being part of a community like this. Like, you really will. You'll feel it, you'll see it, you'll discover it. Magical things will happen to you. Just got to turn up, show up, put in the effort, put in the time, and the care that you put in, the care will kind of come back. And there's not loads of communities out there that I'm part of outside of this world that create that opportunity. And I'd love to see more organizations, community-based organizations, making it a reality, using our approach as a model. It'd be absolutely amazing if people, like you have, say, the Spotify model for engineering teams. Why not the MoTaverse model for other community-based companies? Like, just take the MoTaverse model, try and apply it. It may not exactly work in your context, much like you can't just take the Spotify model and plonk it on another team or another organization, but you can certainly be inspired by it and then modify it to your own context. That's a cool ambition, and maybe we can get to that. I'm sure we can. Just got to keep talking more about it, and I think this episode has certainly helped us talk a little bit about it. But maybe we should do some more.
I definitely, I feel like 2026 is about that, and which is partly why we're doing this podcast episode. To find ways to talk about what we're doing, and it's the right time for us now. So it wasn't the right time before, but now's the right time for us to be talking about it. And I feel really proud of what we have and hopefully what's coming. So I'm motivated, super motivated.
Motivated indeed. Let's go. That's another one of our internal sayings. Let's go.
Or it's happening. It's happening. It's definitely happening. Yeah. Awesome. Sorry. Thank you, Simon. I'm going to have to cut it off here. It's time to head off into the MoTaverse. But it's been great catching up, and I appreciate the time you've spent with us.
Likewise, thank you so much for the opportunity to chat with you in this format, Rosie, and to the listeners. We hope you've enjoyed this one. Keep thoughts coming. Tell us what ideas this has sparked, or things that it's revealed for you that perhaps weren't there before you listened to this episode. Do let us know. We want to hear. We want to continue to inspire each other. I'll see you around the MoTaverse.
Indeed.
See you later.